Today we're taking a deep dive into Facebook and TikTok ads creative testing. This video is a must watch if you want to stay ahead of the game in 2024. Some of the concepts I'm going to share with you in this video I have never seen anywhere else online, and it's helped me scale dozens of businesses to over 7 figures. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Okay, so before we start thinking about what ads to test, we need to understand the purpose behind what tests we want to run. Ads need purpose. That's one piece of advice I can give to any brand owner, is that changing a small variable here or there isn't going to give you the result that you're looking for. There needs to be purpose behind every test, and that's exactly what we're going to cover. So starting the testing process, there's two variables which need to be identified early doors, and that's who is buying and why they are buying. So we can be testing usually up to 3 different ideal customer profiles in terms of the ideal avatar that we're looking to sell to, and then we also need to figure out why they're buying. So there might be multiple problems that you solve for your consumer, outcomes that you're looking to provide, or there might even just be certain unique selling points that are drawing people in. So we need to come to a conclusion of who's buying and for what reason. That's the number one thing that needs to be tested in the beginning stages. And then once we've got that down, what is going to grab their attention? And that will usually be in relation to like the problem that you're solving for them, or the outcome that they're looking for, or just if your product or service has a very strong unique selling point, might be in relation to that. So as I say, once we've determined those 3, then the next stage is to figure out what's going to hold their attention, because it's all good just hooking people in, but if we can't hold their attention, then it's no good. And once we can sort of get those 4 variables down, should be onto a winning ad. And we'll be diving into kind of how to monitor this effectively and how to manage it in Ads Manager. So when we're creative testing, we need a naming convention in place that allows us to break down these variables over different tests, as a one split test isn't necessarily enough to rule out all variables. As for example, some tests might work in some audiences but not others, depending on how granular your approach is. So this process is perfect, and all you need to monitor your creative performance effectively over time. So the structure I use is copy variant, creative type, product name, ICP, angle, hook, ad body, and then where they land. So product page, landing page, home page, class page, shop. So for example, if I was to run ads for a new client, it might start off copy 1. This is our first ever copy test. Video 1. So that's the creative type. It could be static, it could be carousel, whatever it may be. And then the product name, just for the sake of the video, I'll call it high heels. So the demographic might be female, age 18 to 35. The angle might be that we're sort of taking away the pain from standard high heels. So the angle is no pain. And then we're using the first hook. And then the ad body is this variant of ad body, and then we're sending people to a landing page for this product. So this will give us an effective way to monitor the performance over time, because if we use a certain variable more than once, we can break it down in the Ads Manager by using certain filters, which I'll show you in the next part of the video. Okay, so we're inside the Ad Manager here on a dummy account of mine, and now I'll share with you the primary metrics you need to monitor to determine the performance of your creatives. So starting off right at the consumer journey, you've got the thumb stop rate, in other words the hook. So the calculation for this is 3-second video plays divided by impressions. So a lot of people say this is kind of 80% of the efficiency of the ad, which has some truth in it, but if you can't grab attention, then yeah, nobody's going to watch. And if you can double your hook rate, which is usually quite easy to do, then you can double your performance straight away. So a thumb stop rate that you want to aim for is, I'd say, bare minimum 30. It really depends on the niche, and there's a bit more context needed for that, but you should be aiming for over a 30% hook rate, generally speaking, for e-commerce. So this is, can we grab attention? And then we want to be able to hold their attention. So the next metric we look at is the hold rate, 15 seconds. So the calculation for this is through plays divided by 3-second video plays. And again, these variables in relation to the hold rate and the thumb stop rate is something that can be changed around in multiple ads, and something that needs to be monitored effectively and optimized. And then for videos that are a bit on the longer side, we also need to be able to monitor the effectiveness of that. So hook rate 75% is through plays divided by video plays at 75%. So this isn't a percentage on its own. This is like, can we grab attention? And then it will show the percentage of people that we grab attention. And then out of those people, it will then show what percentage of people after the hook have we been able to hold for 15 seconds, and then the same goes for video plays, 75%. So have we grabbed the attention for 15 seconds, but then what is the percentage of people who we've held after that? So these all work in alignment with each other. And then we've got the outbound CTR. So this actually, surprisingly to to a lot of people who are probably watching this, isn't necessarily a metric that is used to make decisions. These are metrics that will make the decisions, because this is actually like giving us granular data on the creative itself. This is good to know just as a kind of, this is the overall performance, but we really need to be granular in the sense that we're monitoring each stage of the creative performance, not just the overall click-through rate, although it's good to know the overall click-through rate too. And then the cost per link click, so we might be able to get people through effectively on the creative side of things, but if the CPMs are too high and we're paying too much to acquire a click, that is also something to consider. So is this really targeted audience performing really well on the creative side of things? Maybe, but because it's so targeted, possibly the CPMs in terms of the advertising costs are going to push our cost per click up too high, so we might need to rethink our approach in that sense. And then we've got our add to cart rate. So this is again a custom column, and this is monitoring what I like to say the intent to buy, so we can catch early signs of where we might be able to forecast performance based on the add to cart rate. So it also lets us monitor how effective our creatives are. So for example, if we're sending people through to the website and only 5% of people are added to cart, we might be able to monitor that against other ads and say, okay, so yeah, this creative is really short and it's effective, people are clicking through, but is the intent to buy there? Have we sold on the creative side of thing well enough? And that again is something that needs to be monitored. So it's not just the creative performance on the platform that we need to keep an eye on, it's the intent to buy on the early doors of the creative side of things. And then ultimately the conversion rate. So again, this is kind of the next step up from that to cart rate. So we've got that intent, are they going through to actually convert, and what is the conversion rate on this particular creative? And then ultimately, yeah, you want to be monitoring the ROAS as well, because all these metrics will be important. If they're not producing a good ROAS, then ultimately they're not an ad that we should continue to run. So all of these are what I would consider the main variables that need to be used to monitor creative performance effectively. They are not all the columns I use around 30 columns, but these are the columns specifically for creative performance. Okay, so the last piece of the puzzle is monitoring the results through the name conventions that we created earlier. So we need to be breaking down certain variables that are occurring frequently. So for example, if we use a hook multiple times in a few different videos, we might want to come in here, click search, go name, and then add name, and then we want to figure out how well hook number 1 has performed over the course of the last month over multiple videos. So we'll click apply, and then because this is dummy ad account, there's nothing, but it would show all the ads that have hook number 1 in there. And again, if we wanted to come in and see what the best product was last month, we might be looking to determine what our hero product is, what's performing best. So we can come in here and say, just for the sake of this, product 1. I would usually name it by the actual product name on the website itself, just so it's easily identifiable. But for the sake of the video, product 1, apply, and we can then see the creative performance of all the ads that are product 1. And there's a filter you can use for every variable that you're running. So again, if we come in here and then look at, maybe we want to see what's performing best, sending people to the product page or the custom landing page that we've created, we can come in here, type in landing page 1, and then we can see how well the product page compares next to the landing page. So that is how you monitor the certain variables laid out in the name conventions over time. And as I say, there's never necessarily just going to be one split test, because we might be creating something for a particular demographic, but then we might start broad, but then we want to try targeted. So there's multiple tests going on over different audiences, and we need to break down what performs best over a long time frame, not just always one split test. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to start putting your creatives to the test, check out my top 7 hook frameworks, which I'll leave a link for in the description. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to follow the channel for more valuable tips and updates, and I'll see you in the next one.